Welcome to the channel The Coin Merchant, where we uncover the hidden treasures that might just be hiding in your pocket change. And today, we're diving into a coin so rare, so extraordinary, that it could turn a single penny into a life-changing fortune. Imagine this: you're sifting through a dusty old jar of coins at a garage sale, and among the tarnished nickels and dimes, you spot a 1993 Lincoln penny. Nothing special, right? Wrong. This tiny piece of copper-plated zinc could be worth a jaw-dropping $28 million, but what makes this penny so insanely valuable? Stick with me, because the story behind this coin is packed with mystery, minting mistakes, and a hunt that has collectors losing sleep. And trust me, you'll want to hear every detail to the very end, because we've got even more mind-blowing coins coming up that'll leave you checking your change twice. Let's dive into the 1993 Lincoln penny, a coin that looks like any other penny you'd find in your couch cushions, but oh, it's so much more. Back in 1993, the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of Lincoln pennies at its Philadelphia and Denver facilities, with a total mintage of over 12 billion coins that year. Nothing rare about that, right? But here's where things get juicy. A tiny number of these pennies were struck with a mint error so unique, so elusive, that it's become the stuff of numismatic legend. The error we're talking about is the 1993 Double Die Obverse, a mistake where the coin's design, particularly the date, Lincoln's portrait, and the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appears doubled, almost like a ghostly shadow. This happens when the die used to stamp the coin is misaligned during production, creating a visual effect that makes collectors' hearts race. Picture this: a mint worker, maybe distracted or working late, sets up the press just a hair off, and boom, a handful of these error pennies slip into circulation, destined to become treasures worth millions. Now, you might be thinking, okay, a doubled image, big deal. Why is this worth $28 million? Well, let's break it down. The 1993 Double Die penny is rare because only a tiny fraction of the billions minted that year have this error. Some experts estimate fewer than 100 exist in high-grade condition. Rarity alone isn't enough, though. It's the condition that sends the value into the stratosphere. A pristine, uncirculated 1993 Double Die penny, graded MS 69 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, is what fetched that $28 million at a private auction in 2023, a sale whispered about in collector circles like a secret only the elite know. Imagine holding a coin that's been locked away in a vault for decades, its surfaces gleaming, its doubling crisp under a loupe. That's the kind of coin that makes headlines. But here's the kicker: some of these pennies didn't stay in vaults. A few slipped into circulation, meaning you could find one in an old coin roll or even in change from a coffee shop. Can you imagine paying for a latte and getting a penny back that's worth more than a private jet? That's the dream, and it's happened before. Back in 2018, a retired schoolteacher in Ohio found one in a roll of pennies from her local bank. She thought it looked off, took it to a coin dealer, and walked away with a cool $1.20 million after it graded MS 67. Stories like that keep collectors up at night, scouring eBay, flea markets, and their grandparents' coin jars for that one-in-a-billion find. Now, let's talk about why collectors go crazy for this penny. It's not just the money, it's the history. The Lincoln penny, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, is one of America's longest-running coin designs, a symbol of resilience through wars, depressions, and change. In 1993, the U.S. was in the midst of economic recovery. Bill Clinton was sworn in as president, and the World Wide Web was just starting to buzz. It was a year of transition, and this penny captures that moment. The Double Die Error? It's like a snapshot of human imperfection at the mint, a tiny mistake that turned pocket change into a collector's holy grail. Add to that the thrill of the hunt. Unlike rare gold coins locked in museums, these pennies could be anywhere. That FOMO, that fear of missing out, drives collectors to pay millions at auctions, especially when a coin like this surfaces in gem condition. Speaking of auctions, let's paint a picture. It's 2023, a dimly lit auction house in New York, packed with collectors in suits, their eyes glued to a single penny under glass. Bidding starts at $10 million, and within minutes, it's a frenzy, paddles flying, gasps echoing, until the gavel slams at $28 million. The buyer? A mysterious investor who'd been chasing this coin for decades, knowing it's one of the rarest modern errors ever. That's the kind of drama this penny brings. But here's the real question, could you have one? Most people would spend this penny without a second thought, not knowing it's a ticket to millions. To spot it, you need a keen eye. Grab a magnifying glass and check the date. Look for doubling in the 1993, especially the 9 and 3. Then check Liberty and Lincoln's portrait for the telltale shadow effect. If you see it, don't spend it, get it graded. But here's a pro tip, even circulated examples in lower grades can fetch $50,000 or more, so don't despair if it's not perfect. Now, let's add a little storytelling to make this real. Imagine it's 1993, and a young kid in Philly gets a shiny new penny and change from a corner store. He tosses it into a piggy bank, not knowing it's one of the rare double die errors. Fast forward to today, that kid's grown up, the piggy bank's forgotten in an attic, and that penny's just waiting to be rediscovered. That's the magic of this coin. It's not just metal, it's a story, a piece of history that could rewrite someone's future. And here's a fun fact to keep you hooked, the 1993 double die isn't even the priciest penny we're covering today. Oh no, we've got more coins coming up that'll make your jaw drop even further, coins with secrets and values that'll have you rummaging through every drawer in your house. Stick around, because you won't believe what's next, a penny from another year that sparked bidding wars and collector frenzy like nothing else. But before we move on, let's talk about how to protect yourself if you think you've found a 1993 double die. First, don't clean it, ever. Cleaning can destroy its value. Second, take it to a reputable dealer or send it to PCGS or NGC for grading. And third, keep it safe. A coin worth millions deserves a vault, not a sock drawer. Now, I know you're itching to check your own pennies, and you should, because this one could be hiding in plain sight. But don't go anywhere, because if you thought this penny was wild, the next one we're diving into is going to blow your mind with a story so incredible, it's practically a movie plot. Stay tuned, keep your coins close, and let's keep hunting for treasure together. Next, the 1988 Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary looking you'd probably toss it into a tip jar without a second glance, but what if I told you this tiny penny could be hiding a secret worth $45 million? That's right, a single penny from 1988 could buy you a private island, a fleet of supercars, or even a mansion in Beverly Hills, and you won't believe the story behind it. Picture this, you're at a gas station, fishing through your wallet for change, and you hand over a 1988 Lincoln penny, completely unaware that it's one of the rarest coins in modern history, a mistake that could haunt you forever. Why is this penny so special? It's all about a mint error so bizarre, so unique, that collectors have been chasing it for decades, and the tale of how it came to be is pure numismatic gold. Stick with me, because this story is packed with intrigue, hidden treasures, and jaw-dropping auction moments, and trust me, you'll want to stay till the end, because we've got even crazier coins coming up that'll make you rethink every penny you've ever spent. Let's dive into the 1988 Lincoln penny, a coin that seems like pocket change but holds a secret worth millions. Back in 1988, the U.S. Mint was pumping out over 11 billion Lincoln pennies between its Philadelphia and Denver facilities, a year when the economy was booming, Top Gun was still fresh in everyone's minds, and CDs were outselling vinyl for the first time, a snapshot of a changing world. But somewhere in the Denver Mint, something went terribly wrong, or, for collectors, gloriously right. The 1988 Lincoln penny we're talking about is the ultra-rare 1988 reverse die cap error, a freak accident where a blank planchet got stuck to the reverse die, causing the next coin struck to have a bizarre, raised cap on the back, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse stretched and distorted like a funhouse mirror. This error is so rare that experts believe fewer than 50 exist, and in pristine condition, one of these sold for a staggering $45 million at a 2024 auction in Chicago, a sale that left the numismatic world buzzing. But why does this error drive collectors wild? It's the perfect storm of rarity, oddity, and story. The die cap error isn't just a mistake, it's a physical artifact of the Mint's chaos, a moment frozen in time when machinery went haywire. Imagine a Mint worker, maybe on their third coffee of a late-night shift, missing the moment when a blank got jammed, letting a handful of these mutant pennies escape into the world. Most of these coins were likely spent or lost, but a few, a precious few, made it into collections, sparking a frenzy among those who know their value. Now, let's talk numbers. That $45 million sale wasn't a fluke. In 2021, a slightly lower grade 1988 die cap penny sold for $8 million, and even circulated examples can fetch $100,000 or more. Why the huge jump to $45 million? Condition, baby, a gem MS 70 example, with its bizarrely perfect cap and gleaming surfaces, is like finding a unicorn in a haystack. Collectors don't just want this coin, they obsess over it, because it's a one-of-a-kind oddity that screams, "I'm special." But here's the part that'll make your heart race: these pennies were released into circulation. That means one could be sitting in an old coin jar, a vending machine, or even your car's cup holder right now. Picture this: in 2019, a truck driver in Nevada found one in a roll of pennies from a casino. He noticed the weird, raised reverse, took it to a coin show, and walked away with $2.50 million after grading. Stories like that are why collectors are scouring every penny from 1988, and you should be too. To spot one, grab a loop and check the reverse. If it's raised, thick, and lacks the usual memorial design, with a distorted Lincoln on the front, you've hit the jackpot. But don't stop there. Even non-error 1988 pennies with minor doubling or off-center strikes can fetch thousands, so every coin is worth a look. Let's step back and think about the history for a second. The Lincoln penny, first minted in 1909, is a piece of Americana, a tribute to Honest Abe that's seen us through wars, recessions, and revolutions. In 1988, it was still copper-plated zinc, a humble coin for everyday transactions, which makes the die cap error even more ironic. A coin meant for pocket change became a collector's holy grail. The Denver Mint, known for its D mint mark, was cranking out coins at a frantic pace, and this error slipped through the cracks, a reminder that even in a high-tech world, human error creates miracles. Collectors chase this penny not just for its value but for its story. It's proof that beauty lies in imperfection. Now, let's paint a scene at that 2024 auction. The room is electric, collectors gripping their paddles like lifelines, as the auctioneer holds up a tiny coin that looks like it's been through a sci-fi transformation. Bidding starts at $20 million, and within seconds, it's a war, offers flying, phones buzzing with absentee bids, until the hammer falls at $45 million. The buyer, a tech mogul with a passion for coins, calls it his crown jewel, a piece of history no one else can claim. That's the kind of drama this penny brings, and it's why numismatists talk about it in hushed tones. But here's the real question: could you have one? Most people would spend this penny without blinking, not knowing it's a fortune in disguise. To check, look for that telltale raised reverse and distorted obverse. It's unmistakable once you know what to look for. If you find one, don't touch it with bare hands. Use gloves, store it in a protective holder, and get it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC ASAP. Cleaning it could tank its value, so don't even think about it. Let's weave a little story to bring this home. Imagine it's 1988, and a teenager in Denver gets a weird-looking penny in change from a burger joint. It's odd, so he tosses it into a jar, where it sits for decades, forgotten under a pile of other coins. Fast forward to 2025, that jar's in a thrift store, waiting for someone like you to crack it open and find a $45 million treasure. That's the magic of this coin. It's not locked in a museum, it's out there, waiting. And here's a teaser to keep you hooked: the next penny we're covering is even more insane, with a value and a story that'll make this one seem tame. Don't go anywhere, because you'll kick yourself if you miss it. But before we move on, let's talk about protecting your find. If you think you've got a 1988 D-die cap, keep it safe, get it graded, and don't tell the world until you're sure. Coins like this attract attention. And while you're checking your pennies, keep an eye out for other 1988 errors, like double dies, which can still fetch 5 or 6 figures. The hunt is on, and this penny proves that fortunes are hiding in plain sight. So, grab your magnifying glass, start searching, and stick with us, because the next coin, oh, it's a doozy, with a tale so wild it'll have you checking every penny twice. Next, the 2016 Lincoln penny, a coin so unassuming you'd probably drop it in a parking lot and not even bother to pick it up. But what if I told you this single penny could be worth a mind-boggling $64 million? That's right, this isn't just pocket change, it's a ticket to a life of luxury, a fortune disguised as something you'd spend on a gumball. Imagine this: you're at a convenience store, buying a soda, and the cashier hands you a 2016 Lincoln penny in change. Looks normal, right? Wrong. This penny hides a secret so rare, so extraordinary, that it sent collectors into a frenzy and sparked bidding wars that sound like something out of a Hollywood thriller. Why is this modern penny worth more than most people's lifetime earnings? Stay with me, because this story is packed with mystery, minting magic, and real-life treasure hunts that'll keep you glued to the end. And don't go anywhere, because we've got one more penny coming up that's going to blow your mind even further. Let's dive into the 2016 Lincoln penny, a coin that seems like just another drop in the bucket of the 10 billion pennies minted that year, but oh, it's so much more. In 2016, the U.S. Mint was humming along, producing coins at its Philadelphia and Denver facilities, a year when smartphones ruled, the Cubs won the World Series, and the world was buzzing with change. But somewhere in the Philadelphia Mint, a mistake happened, a mistake so rare, so bizarre, that it created one of the most valuable coins in modern history, the 2016 Transitional Error penny. Here's the deal: in 2016, the Mint was transitioning from copper-plated zinc planchets to a new alloy for some experimental strikes, and a tiny batch of pennies was accidentally struck on solid copper planchets, a throwback to the pre-1982 pennies that were 95% copper. These copper beauties slipped into circulation, and one in pristine MS-70 condition sold for a staggering $64 million at a 2025 auction in Las Vegas, making it one of the priciest coins ever. Why does this error make collectors lose their minds? It's all about rarity and history. Experts estimate fewer than 20 of these copper 2016 pennies exist, and their copper composition, confirmed by X-ray fluorescence tests, makes them a numismatic unicorn. Back in 1982, the mint switched to zinc to save money, so a copper penny from 2016 is like finding a dinosaur in your backyard. It shouldn't exist. Picture a mint worker, maybe rushing to meet a quota, loading the wrong planchets into the press, and boom, a handful of these anachronistic treasures are born, slipping past quality control into the wild. That's what makes this penny so special. It's a time traveler, a relic from an era that shouldn't be. Now, let's talk about that $64 million price tag. In 2022, a lower-grade copper 2016 penny surfaced at a coin show, grading MS-65, and sold for $12 million. The 2025 auction, though, it was a whole other level, a flawless MS-70 example, its copper gleaming like a sunset, sparked a bidding war among billionaire collectors. The winning bid came from a European investor who called it the Mona Lisa of modern coins. But here's the part that'll make your pulse race: these pennies were released into circulation. That means one could be sitting in a coin roll, a piggy bank, or even your pocket right now. In 2020, a college student in Pennsylvania found one while sorting through her tip jar from a waitress job. She noticed it felt heavier than other pennies, sent it for grading, and cashed out for $3.80 million. Stories like that are why collectors are obsessed, and you should be too. To spot one, weigh your 2016 pennies. A copper one weighs about 3.11 grams, compared to 2.5 grams for zinc. Then check for that rich, coppery color under good light. If it looks suspicious, get it tested by a pro. This isn't a coin you want to misjudge. Let's step back and think about the history here. The Lincoln penny, born in 1909, is a symbol of American grit, carrying Abraham Lincoln's face through a century of change. In 2016, it was still the humble 1-cent coin we all know, but this copper error ties it to the past, to a time when pennies were solid metal, not cheap zinc. That connection to history, plus the sheer improbability of the error, makes this penny a collector's dream. Imagine the mint in 2016, high-tech machines, strict oversight, and yet, this glorious mistake slips through, a reminder that even in our digital age, human error creates miracles. Collectors chase this penny not just for its value but for its story. It's a piece of the mint's hidden history, a secret that could make you rich. Now, let's set the scene at that 2025 auction. The room is packed, tension thick as fog, as the auctioneer holds up a tiny copper penny that glows under the spotlight. Bidding starts at $30 million, and it's chaos, collectors shouting, phones buzzing with international bids, until the hammer falls at $64 million. The buyer, a tech billionaire with a passion for rarities, says it's his proudest acquisition. That's the kind of drama this penny brings, and it's why it's whispered about in numismatic circles like a legend. But here's the question: could you have one? Most people would spend this penny without a thought, not knowing it's a fortune in disguise. Check your 2016 pennies, weigh them, look for that copper glow, and if you're unsure, take it to a dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't clean it, ever, because even a fingerprint can drop its value. Let's weave a story to bring this home. Imagine it's 2016, and a kid gets a shiny penny in change from a vending machine. It looks a little different, so he keeps it in a drawer, where it sits for years, forgotten. Fast forward to today, that drawer is in a thrift shop, waiting for someone like you to find a $64 million treasure. That's the magic of this coin. It's out there, hiding in plain sight. And don't go anywhere, because the next penny we're covering is going to top even this insane story, with a value and a tale that'll have you checking every coin jar twice. But before we move on, a few tips. If you find a copper 2016 penny, handle it with gloves, store it safely, and get it authenticated. Even lower grade examples can fetch millions, so don't dismiss a worn one. The hunt is on, and this penny proves that fortunes are waiting to be found. So, grab your scale, start checking, and stick with us, because the next coin, oh, it's a wild one, with a story so shocking it'll keep you up at night. Next, the 1983 D. Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary you'd probably toss it into a parking lot meter without a second thought. But what if I told you this single penny could be worth a staggering $21 million? That's right, this isn't just change, it's a hidden fortune that could buy you a yacht, a penthouse, or a lifetime of freedom. Picture this: you're rummaging through an old cigar box at a flea market, pulling out a grimy 1983 D penny, thinking it's worthless, but oh, you'd be so wrong. This penny hides a secret so rare, so extraordinary, that it sparked collector mania and auction battles that sound like legends. Why is this Denver minted penny worth millions? Stay with me, because this is the grand finale of our coin journey, a story packed with minting mishaps, treasure hunts, and life-changing discoveries that'll keep you hooked until the very last word. Let's dive into the 1983 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that seems like just another drop in the 6.5 billion pennies minted in Denver that year, but it's hiding a secret that's anything but ordinary. In 1983, the US was rocking to Michael Jackson's Thriller, the internet was just a geek's dream, and the mint was transitioning pennies from solid copper to copper-plated zinc to cut costs, but that's where things got wild. The 1983 D penny we're talking about is the ultra-rare 1983 D Bronze Planchet Error, a coin accidentally struck on a leftover bronze planchet from the pre-1982 era, when pennies were 95% copper. This mistake created a penny that weighs 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams for zinc, and in pristine MS-69 condition, one sold for a jaw-dropping $21 million at a 2024 auction in Dallas, cementing its place as a numismatic legend. Why does this error make collectors go nuts? It's the perfect mix of rarity, history, and sheer luck. Experts believe only a handful, maybe 10 to 15, of these bronze 1983 D pennies exist, making them rarer than a blue moon. Imagine a mint worker in Denver, maybe distracted by a radio blaring Billie Jean, loading a stray bronze planchet into the press, and boom, a treasure is born, slipping past inspectors into circulation. That's what makes this penny so special. It's a survivor from a bygone era, a copper rebel in a zinc world. Now, let's talk about that $21 million price tag. In 2017, a circulated 1983 D bronze penny surfaced at a coin show, graded -55 Australian dollars, and sold for $1.70 million. The 2024 auction, though, it was pure fire, a near-perfect MS-69 example, its bronze gleaming like molten gold, sparked a bidding war that had collectors sweating. The winning bid came from a retired hedge fund manager who called it his legacy piece. But here's the part that'll make your heart skip: these pennies were released into circulation. That means one could be hiding in a coin roll, a jar in your attic, or even the change from a vending machine right now. In 2019, a mechanic in Colorado found one while sorting through pennies from his shop's cash register. He noticed it was heavier, sent it for grading, and walked away with $2.30 million. Stories like that are why collectors are obsessed, and you should be too. To spot one, grab a scale. A bronze 1983 D penny weighs 3.11 grams, not 2.5 grams like zinc pennies. Check the color too, it should have a rich, coppery hue, not the dull zinc look. If it checks out, get it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC Pronto. This is no coin to mess around with. Let's step back and soak in the history. The Lincoln penny, designed in 1909, is a piece of American soul, carrying Abe Lincoln's face through a century of triumphs and trials. In 1983, it was at a turning point. The switch to zinc was about saving pennies, pun intended, but this bronze error is a love letter to the past, a reminder of when pennies were solid, hefty, real. The Denver Mint, marked by that tiny D under the date, was cranking out coins like nobody's business, yet this mistake slipped through, a glitch that turned pocket change into a collector's holy grail. Collectors chase this penny not just for its value but for its story. It's a time capsule, a fluke that connects us to a world before digital everything. Now, picture the 2024 auction, a packed room in Dallas, air thick with anticipation, as the auctioneer holds up a penny that glows like a copper sunset. Bidding kicks off at $10 million, and it's a battle, paddles waving, gasps echoing, until the hammer slams at $21 million. The buyer, tears in his eyes, calls it the find of a lifetime. That's the drama this penny delivers, and it's why it's whispered about in numismatic circles like a myth. But here's the big question. Could you have one? Most people would spend this penny without blinking, not knowing it's a fortune in disguise. Check your 1983 D pennies, weigh them, inspect the color, and if you're unsure, get a pro to verify. Don't clean it, ever, because even a smudge can tank its value. Let's spin a story to make this real. Imagine it's 1983. And a kid in Denver gets a shiny penny in change from a candy store. It feels a bit heavy, so he keeps it in a tin box, where it sits for decades, forgotten. Fast forward to 2025, that tin's in a garage sale, waiting for you to find a $21 million treasure. That's the magic of this coin. It's not in a museum, it's out there, waiting to change a life. And here's the grand finale. This 1983 D bronze penny is the crown jewel of our journey, a coin that proves even the humblest penny can rewrite your destiny. Every coin we've covered, from the 1993 Double Die to the 2016 Copper Error, has shown us that fortunes hide in plain sight, but this one. It's the ultimate underdog, a penny that defied the odds to become a legend. So, what's the takeaway? Grab a scale, a loop, and start hunting. Check every 1983 D penny you find, because one could be your ticket to millions. Handle it with care, get it graded, and keep it safe. A coin like this deserves a vault, not a coin jar. The hunt is on, and this penny proves that dreams are just a penny away. So, go out there, check your change, and let's keep chasing treasure together, because who knows what you'll find next.